Assassin's Creed been a pillar of modern gaming, but under the man who ran the franchise for years, the series kinda accumulated self-inflicted wounds. Today I'm going to talk about why Mark Alexis Cote, if I'm saying his name right, failed as a boss. How his choices actively damaged the franchise's creative health and reputation. But again, why his exit doesn't mean a bright new chapter for this franchise. Assassin's Creed outlook is frankly gloomy. The franchise future hasn't been changed, more like under a new management. I mean, yeah, this guy kinda made things go worse for Assassin's Creed franchise, but he wasn't the guy who fired Patrice Désilets from the company in a rude way. It wasn't even respectful, it was a rude way of treating your golden boy. It was this guy who did that. And if you don't know who Patrice Désilets is, he's basically the creator of Assassin's Creed franchise. The creator of Assassin's Creed 1, the character Altair, the character of Ezio Auditore, everyone. Cote oversaw a period of risk aversion, poor crisis management, cancelled bold projects, and strategic choices that pushed the brand towards safer, revenue-first models. He left after Ubisoft reorganized into a Tencent-backed vintage studios, but that thing arguably cements the same commercial pressure that caused the problems in the first place. The franchise's core strengths, variety of eras, bold historical storytelling, and creative trust were eroded under his management, and reversing that will be hard. The choices that he made didn't just slow the franchise, it actively hollowed out what made Assassin's Creed distinctive. I don't know if I said this before or not, but the Assassin's Creed that you're seeing right now is not Assassin's Creed. It's basically like Konami, because most of the real creators are not in the company anymore. Multiple outlets reported that Ubisoft cancelled a planned Assassin's Creed set in the Reconstruction post-Civil War American South, a story that would have followed a formerly enslaved protagonist confronting the Ku Klux Klan, even if I'm saying the thing right. I would doubt it. That project was reportedly shelved amid concerns about political backlash and the broader US political climate. This is the clearest sign leadership chose avoidance over confronting hard, historically vital subject matter, which I didn't really care that much. I mean, in my opinion, that game was already doomed. When you start a game out of your political opinions, most of the time that doesn't really work out well, even if you do it right. Like, look at Ghost of Utah. The game is great, but people are just whining about the lead character being a activist. But maybe it wasn't really about political opinions, and it was morely just a bold idea. So ask yourself this: if the franchise is built on exploring messy, difficult pests, why will you cancel a story that does exactly that? The answer might be probably fear of controversy and a drive to keep markets placid. Tells you everything about the leadership mindset, and you just don't need to mention this game that was going to be about civil war. God knows how many projects were offered to this guy, and he just blindly rejected all of them. Canceling projects like that doesn't just kill one game, it removes a unique cultural voice the franchise could own, and signals to internal teams that bold ideas will be punished. That's a long-term creative tax. When Shadows introduced Yasuke, a black samurai protagonist, everybody whined about him being black, which was the only bold decision from Ubisoft in these past 10 years, which was again probably was forced upon the story, so not a bold idea, just a political idea. But again, Ubisoft defended the title and the team publicly, but the company's wider pattern of treating controversy as a liability rather than a call to robust support and community engagement made things even worse. Meanwhile, player trust eroded. Titles in the series saw moments of sharp criticism, not just for bugs but for perceived priorities, system over story, monetization over craft. When we think decisions are made to protect corporate image or revenue rather than the game, review bombing and community backlash definitely will follow, and those aren't imaginary. They reduce sales and goodwill. After Assassin's Creed Mirage, Ubisoft had to sell itself out to Tencent just to survive. only probably 2 years after their best-selling game, which was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Who could have thought? The fact that people don't like Assassin's Creed games just talks loudly. For example, back in the day when Assassin's Creed Mirage was released, everybody were basically positive about that game. I wasn't. I really couldn't really make myself think good about Mirage. But now, the situation is so much different. Ubisoft created Vintage Studios, a separate entity to manage its biggest IPs, or basically just Assassin's Creed. I mean, nobody cares about Watch Dogs in that studio. Tencent has taken a stake and Vintage is co-led by company insiders. That probably brings cash and stability, but it also cements a production model where predictability and long-term monetization are king. Under Kote's watch, the franchise was already tilting toward epic RPG and shared tech pipelines. Vantage formalizes that tilt. So even if this guy had stayed, the system he'd been working inside was drifting toward safer outputs like before. Because yeah, I mean, he wasn't really a good leader. Ever since he took the charge, we had like the Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed RPGs, and the new one, and Hexe. Basically, ever since he came to this franchise, he destroyed the identity. I don't want to go deep, but you know what's going on in Ubisoft, the abuse of employers and stuff like that, but it's not just about him, the whole company is like that. Ubisoft is more like a monarchy system than a creative company like, let's say, Larian Studios. I mean, Larian Studios is a bad example because that company is basically my favorite out there, but it just didn't have any in my mind right now. The announced exit and reported internal attempts to keep him showed this is messy inside. Even to begin with, these people wanted to keep him in the company, so basically there is no argument with the change in the studio. They're not going to somehow revolutionize Assassin's Creed franchise. Ubisoft doesn't accept cool ideas or bold ones, the ones that actually made this franchise become what it is today. So that is the reason why everybody are leaving or left already Ubisoft, and the bus was one of the reasons that this happened. Like as I said before, the Ubisoft that you're seeing right now is not Ubisoft. It's basically a reskinned version of the thing that you loved before. The identity is lost because of this guy and the people that are working on it or are going to work on it in the future. The fact is, they're not going to replace this guy with people like Patrice Désilets or something, or Jade Raymond or Corey May, if I'm saying his thing right. Tencent bought this company. As a company, the last thing you want to be is to be bought by a Chinese company. And they are probably going to replace this guy with one of theirs. But still, blaming one leader is emotionally satisfying, but it's tragically useless. This Kote's guy departure isn't a purge of the problem, it's a clearing. One name from an organizational tree that still bears the same branches. The culture that shrinks bold stories to avoid controversy and that treats the franchise like a repeatable revenue or a cow revenue product is still standing. If Assassin's Creed is going to stop being formulaic, it won't be because of one executive leaves. It will take sustained, uncomfortable changes to how these companies measure success. So in my opinion, be skeptical of optimistic takes. This exit is not a victory, it's another press release. But what do you think though? Tell me in the comments what risky Assassin's Creed you want to see and why. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and until next time, may the flames guide your way.